Hey everyone, this is Carmina, your host, welcoming you back to another live session. And today we are going to be looking at the upcoming new moon in Gemini. And I'm also going to be giving you info on how you can win the last Cards of Truth deck that I'm giving away. And it's the last deck because I only have two left. So one I'm giving away at this giveaway, and the other one, if you want to buy it, your chance is now, because this was like a limited edition deck and I don't know when I'm gonna put out another one. I'm working on other projects, so yes. So let's see who's on right now. Hi Scott, or is it Andrew? I think it's Scott. Hi Twin Shaman, hi Zita. Thank you. I'm glad you received the card deck and I'm glad you enjoyed them, Zita. So let me just look at the new moon configuration. Let's see where these planets are. Okay, so on Monday, June the 3rd, we're going to have Sun, Moon, and Mercury in the sign of Gemini. You know, the sign of Gemini is quite an experimental sign. In Vedic astrology, it's symbolized by a pair, a man and a woman. So it's not like in Western astrology, like twins, same sex, two guys. It's a man and a woman. The man has a mace, a bat, and the woman has a musical instrument, a lute. Lute. Is it pronounced lute? Lute? Lute. A flute, something like that. So it's interesting because, okay, it has this male-female dynamic and it has this experimental exploration connotation. Gemini is also a very sexual sign because it's the only sign with a man and a woman. And Gemini is also the sign that I found in my research of 375 musicians charts. In the 9th divisional chart, the Navamsha, I saw that most musicians have their soul planet, the planet with the highest degrees in their chart, in Gemini in the 9th divisional chart, aka Navamsha. So that is something, right? Because, you know, this is the sign that contains a musical instrument, so it's present as soul planet, as a self factor for most musicians that I analyzed. So I'm gonna look at your questions later. You can keep asking or start asking. But now I'm just gonna be talking a little bit about this new moon. So always new moon is a time for a new beginning. It doesn't have to be a super long-term beginning, but you know, it's a moon phase and the moon influences the water on this earth, and 70% of our bodies are made of water. So always a new moon, a full moon, an eclipse, they're important times for living beings made of water like us. The new moon, of course, shows new beginnings, shows maybe you want to, you know, you have new plans, new projects. The sign of Gemini, moon in Gemini, as I said, it can be musical, but it can also be very healing. It can also be very creative because the moon with Mercury, because it is with Mercury in Gemini when the moon is new, and it's also in the sign of Mercury, and that's a combination for authorship. Of course, it also includes other factors, but it's one of the important factors to have for authorship and also for healing. So let's see what creative projects you can bring out with this new moon in Gemini. Let's see what you can do. The sun and moon together, well, that's the sun gets delighted, right? So your inspiration, your creativity will get like a boost. And Mercury is also there. Mercury is a manifesting planet. It will help manifest its own sign, the sign of Gemini. So Mercury is quite strong, although it is a bit starved by the moon, because when Mercury and the moon are together, things can get a little too personal. Like you can get you can take things too personally, right? Mercury and the moon both relate to the manas, to the mind. The moon is like our subjective consciousness, how we perceive things, how we experience things, our opinions. And then Mercury is our intellect, how we can decipher things, how we can decode things. So when these two are together, maybe it can be sometimes a little bit of an overload. For the moon, it's good because Mercury is a friend to the moon, so the moon gets delighted. But for Mercury, it's a bit stressful because then Mercury maybe takes things a bit too emotionally, too personally. But for creativity, it's quite good. If you want to start like a creative project, you can think about it like in this upcoming new moon. You can, think about it or even start it. Also, if you look at the cards of truth, we see that the new moon will be on June 3rd, which is an Ace of Spades day, right? Every year, June 3rd is an Ace of Spades. So the Ace of Spades is getting to the bottom of things, finding out something deep that is true about ourselves, about our work, about meditation, about our physical health. And the Ace of Spades is also a potential of developing something new about ourselves. So these two new factors, the new moon and the Ace of Spades day, make it like quite personal, quite introverted, and quite creative and experimental because of the sign of Gemini. If we look at the other planets, we see Mars is with the North Node in Cancer. Mars is debilitated, so there is maybe the willingness to move forward can be a little hampered by emotions. You can get a little emotional. You can think like, what will other people say? Will I hurt other people's feelings if I start this new thing? But at the same time, the North Node there being with Mars, it kind of magnifies it. It kind of gives it a little obsession connotation. And we also have the South Node in Capricorn with Saturn and Pluto there for still a long time. So it's like again, our emphasis on, getting a conclusion about the fixed, about the rigid things in our lives, about our responsibilities, about duties. That's what Capricorn is. So we'll see how that pans out. We don't have any planets in fire signs except for Jupiter, which is very well in its own sign of Sagittarius at 20 degrees retrograde. So when Jupiter goes retrograde, you actually, retrogression is not a bad thing per se because the planet appears to be closer to the Earth. So you get more of that planet, right? So it depends on what Jupiter is to you. In general, Jupiter is teachers, it's wisdom. It's like joyous wisdom, the joy for life, that joy that comes from the fact that you understand things, right? And you tolerate things. And it's kind of childish, childlike, but also very deep, very profound wisdom. And Jupiter for women can be the man in their life. Jupiter can be children, it can be abundance, it can be wealth of things in your life. So when Jupiter is retrograde right now, it's kind of bringing you a focus like you're thinking, how can I make Jupiterian things of more quality in my life? Because retrogression is always a good time to reflect on what that planet is in your life. Like, how can I improve the relationship with my children, the relationship with my teachers? How can I improve the relationship with my husband? And Jupiter being in a good dignity, that would definitely help. So I don't see Jupiter retrograde as being something negative. And then we have Venus. Venus is the other teacher planet, but it's more like a practical teacher. It's more, like in the moment, what am I going to do in the moment. It's in Taurus, and it's, it's not really conjunct because it's not in the same orb as Uranus, but it's in the same sign, in Taurus with Uranus. So Venus is going to get a little spiced up, a little amped up. You can expect some, your romantic life can get a little spiced up, or whatever else Venusian you have in your life, like the luxuries, your vacation, the comfort. Yeah, that's like what's happening in the sky right now. I personally am having a Neptune transit to my sun, and it's gonna go on for a while. So it depends when, like all Virgos that are born like kind of in the middle of the sign are getting their sun transited by Neptune. So, it's that waxing and waning phase of Neptune. It's like disappointment, disillusionment with ideals, and then what am I hanging on to? What do I believe in? So yeah, it's happening for me as well. I can attest to that. Let's check out your questions. Okay. Yes, Scott. June 3rd is your birthday. Happy birthday, Scott. It's also my mother's birthday. My mother is also an ace of spades. Well, if you're born before sunrise, you're a two of spades. Okay, twin shaman. What a coincidence. June 2nd. So if you're born before sunrise, you're a three of spades. If you're born after sunrise, you're a two of spades, twin shaman. What's your name, twin shaman? Let's see. Yeah, well, the moon is gonna be, of course, in Gemini for the new moon. Mac Pedro, my Venus sign is Virgo. Well, Venus is debilitated in Virgo. So that, people with Venus in Virgo can have trouble with relationships because Venus is the planet of relationships, but they can still get satisfaction. Like, they don't really want to put in the work. They kind of want to, find a game or find some other hobby or something else to do, or some other person. So yeah, people with Venus and Virgo have to put a little bit of extra effort to make relationships work. Oh, Jamie. Nice to meet you, Jamie. Jamie Gilbert. Yes, two of swords is two of spades. Yes, you know that the playing cards exist from before tarot, actually. So tarot was made by the mother of playing cards, which date from pre-Egyptian, some say Atlantis. So yeah. Mark. Helga, your new moon is in your 7th house. Any good news? You look lovely. Thank you, Helga. Well, moon in the 7th house, sun, moon in the 7th house, and Mercury, it's definitely going to get manifested because Mercury is also there, and Mercury is a manifesting planet. I don't remember your ascendant, so I don't really know what lords for you are sun, moon, and Mercury. But there can be definitely something manifested there, especially because of Mercury. Oh, okay. If it's in Gemini, then it means your ascendant is Sagittarius. Well, you have Jupiter in your ascendant, so that's manifesting your path, Helga, so it's good. Yes, twin shaman, I understand. Your mind translates into tarot. Yes, I can see how that is happening. So you guys, if you have any questions for me, shoot. Go ahead. And in the meantime, I'm going to tell you how you can win one of these two remaining card decks. I already packed it. The one that I'm going to send is here. See, you can win this card deck that is nicely wrapped already. So, if you want to win, I'm just going to leave people some time because, okay, last time, some people were like, well, we didn't know about your live, we couldn't come, and we wanted to, participate into this card drawing. So what you can do if you want to win this card deck is after this live stream ends, you just go to the video and you write in the comment, what would be your idea of me collaborating with someone, a non-astrology channel. Like I also want to collaborate with non-astrology channels because I do enough collaborations with astrologers. So if you think of like a realistic channel, of course, if you're going to tell me someone with 1 million subscribers, probably they're not going to look at their inbox and want to collaborate with me. But, somebody like a realistic and interesting collaboration that you think I could do with another channel, I'd be interesting to hear your ideas, your opinions, because, right, new moon in Gemini, experimenting and all that good stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna pick one person from the comments that made this comment, and I'm gonna send them the card deck, of course, after they send me their address and all the details. Do you like my roses and my peonies? Oh, thank you. Well, it's not a dress, it's a shirt, but I love it too because it's lemons and I love lemons. Okay, Zita, I practice astrology with a tropical system. So it's like Western science, but with Vedic principles. This is how it works for me, and this is what I'm doing. Some people do sidereal astrology with Vedic, some people do Western. Well, I use the Western science because that's what works for me. These techniques works for me, but I also use Vedic principles like planetary friendships, like the states of the planets, which bring a lot of depth to the readings. Mac Pedro, King of Hearts. Oh, so you're a guy that's, I guess you can say that you're quite romantic. Okay. Your karma card is 2 of clubs, so I guess that's your underlying card. 2 of clubs, can she be your soulmate? Well, you also have to look in a compatibility. You just don't look only at the birth cards. You also look at the where your ascendant card is. If you have the cards of true software, you also have to look how your 7th cusp matches up with something in her chart. So you look at all the spread compatibility, not just at the birth card, because that's just a tiny thing. Okay, I had a strong connection when I met her, but I was too scared to talk to her. Yes. Well, Mac, you won't know until you try. Let me pull a card for you. Mac. A King of Hearts reverse, right? And that's your birth card. So it's like you're not being fully yourself. You should embrace like who you are. The King of Hearts is a person who has like great emotional authority and is not afraid to sacrifice their feelings for the people that or the things that they love. So be yourself. Don't delay it. Just be yourself, and there's nothing to lose actually, right? Okay, so Kalinka, 7 of Hearts is my card. I love your videos, and thank you for calling me a gem. I really like. I'm really enthusiastic about these videos, and people have told me that what I'm doing is pretty new, pretty experimental. So that's why it's not super mainstream, because I combine various astrology techniques with the cards and with other things. But that's what I like doing, so that's what I'm doing, and I'm glad you also enjoy it. Yes, I would say go for it, talk to her. You guys, I'm gonna let you go now, but don't forget about the giveaway. Just after this video ends, just go to the comment section and just write like, who should I do a realistic collaboration with that's not like an astrology channel, right? And it would be fun and interesting for you to do. So I wish you guys a happy new moon. Like, don't really worry about things, just do it. Gemini is the opposite of Sagittarius. Gemini is more practical, more doing. Sagittarius is more philosophizing. So with this new moon, is like, just do it. Don't overthink it, okay? Okay, I'm gonna let you go now. Bye. Bye, Solange. Bye, Zita. Bye, Scott and Jamie and everyone. Ramesh. Bye.